Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. Today we're going to talk about this really sweet 2005 Maserati and what we just finished doing to this car. Let's get started. So this really sweet Maserati is in here just for an exhaust upgrade. We also did a drive-by-wire upgrade by Formula Dynamics, and that's in the passenger footwell. We'll take a look at that here in a little bit. It's not here for a bunch of extensive work. There's just a few things the customer wanted added to it, and we have finished those up, and this thing sounds amazing. This is, like I said, the 2005 Maserati Coupe, or Coupe, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It has a 390 horsepower Ferrari-based V8 engine in it. Not really a Ferrari engine. It doesn't have a flat plane crankshaft. It has a cross plane like your typical Chevy or whatever. But the block and things are the F136 line. Basically, a lot of that stuff is very, very similar. Let's go ahead and open the hood and take a look. And there it is, guys. Very sweet looking engine. Nice red valve covers. Maserati. This thing has 390 horsepower. Albeit it's at a very high RPM, but only 330 pound-feet of torque, 331 to be exact. But it still has really good power for such a small car. 0 to 60 is under 5 seconds. I think it's 4.6, and a quarter miles in the 13 range, almost 12. Really not too bad for a fun little car. These cars you can pick up fairly cheap. These aren't going to be $95,000 like a Ferrari 360 or something. These you can pick up 10, 15, 20, 25, depending on the condition. They're not going to be astronomically high. I'm not sure what the customer paid for this one, but it is a really, really nice one. It has 48,000 miles on it. It's in really good shape. We'll take a look at the interior here in a minute, but let's take a look around the exterior. It's a very beautiful Maserati front end with the Trident. Nice chrome grille there. The paint shows pretty well on this car. It's not banged up or beat up. It's in really good, pretty good shape. I really like the wheels. They look nice on this car. And on down this side, again, no dents, no cracks, no scratches. And the back wheel, it's got some scuffs on the back wheel. I think all the wheels have a little scuffing, but it's not too bad. This has a very iconic looking rear end. You definitely don't mistake that for a Kia Soul. You know that's a Maserati. It looks nice. It's got quad exhaust pipes, and you guys are going to get to hear the exhaust here in a minute. It sounds really good. Here we are with this side. Again, some of the scuffs on the wheels. No scratches, no dents. It's not been beat up on. And here we are on the front passenger side corner. Looks like the customer splashed in a little bit of mud or went through some rain or something. But this car is in very, very good shape. So here we are in the interior. And this is a beautiful, beautiful interior. It is really nice. I wouldn't mind having one of these myself. You like it, Mrs. Wizard?
Only if I'd let you drive it.
Oh, only if you'd let me drive it?
Exactly.
Look at the dinky little shifter down there. Isn't it cute? Yes. This is a paddle shifter, or the F1 transmission that's used on the Ferrari 355 and the 360. It can be slow to shift, and the throttle response is kind of almost non-existent until you upgrade it with the Formula Dynamics drive-by-wire upgrade, which this vehicle has had. You can see a little switch down here, right here. That is selecting different settings on the upgrade. But everything we installed, you really can't see it right now. It's behind the carpet where the ECM is. It ties in with the ECM. There's a little black box and some wiring. And there's also a switch out here to change the settings for more aggressive throttle control, or dials it back a little bit if you go the other way. And this one has nice back seats, really tiny back seats. They almost look like little toilets, Mrs. Wizard. Yeah. But they are very small. I really like the headliner on this. It looks like almost like a baseball mitt. Very nice stitching on it. The interior on this car is very, very nice. I think the customer did well on his purchase. I think he did very well. So let's go ahead and raise this car up and look underneath. This thing looks like a armor breastplate. You could use it in combat. It's very heavy too. You could lift weights with it. This is the exhaust, the center section of the exhaust of this car. It is no longer part of this car. This has removed a lot of weight and increased the sound dramatically. We'll work our way back to that. We'll take a look here. I don't see any drippy drips, any leaks. There's our radiator fans and our radiator. Everything's dry in there. Front of the engine is dry. Got an interesting skid plate here. It's like a mesh plate. And there's the cats, the front cats. Check the wheels here. The pads are good. Nothing loose. No leaking suspension, or shocks I should say. Check over here. Good pads. Those are good. You can see these wheels are made by BBS. That shock's nice and dry. Steering rack is nice and dry. We'll move our way back to these cats. And that's where the stock exhaust ends as far as the exhaust is concerned. This is a Larini X pipe the customer supplied and had installed on his car. We've got that taken care of, and it sounds really, really good. Very nice chrome, stainless steel I think it is. I don't think it's chrome, I think it's stainless steel. But one thing I want to show you guys up above these cats, right where my finger is pointing and tapping, you can see there's a clutch inside of there. This is a automated manual transmission, the F1 transmission, but the clutch resides inside of here, but yet the transmission is not right there. This is for you guys who are not familiar with Maseratis or Ferraris. There's a torque tube, or kind of a drive shaft that goes all the way back, and the transaxle is back here, the transmission. So if you want to do a clutch job on this car, you don't just take apart the little portion up there and do the clutch. Just like a C6 Corvette, a C5 Corvette. The whole thing, the tube, everything has to come out and down. The transmission, torque tube, the exhaust has to come off. It's quite an ordeal, and that's why the clutches on these are not cheap. They range from $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 depending on what you're having done. So not cheap to do clutches on these. But here we're back to factory exhaust again. We just got rid of the center section. Take a look, see if there's any leaks back here. I don't see any. The brakes look good. Nothing loose there. The CV shafts look clean and dry. The shock is dry. Brakes are good. Nothing loose there. Dry CV shaft again. A dry shock. Sway bar link's good. Sway bar link is good there too. Here's our spare tire. It's kind of up in the bumper. It's kind of weird. But at least it has one. And the tires look fairly new. Look like they've been recently replaced, so I don't have to worry about tires. The design of this car is really nice. It's not super complex like an Audi or something. As you can see, the control arms, it has one control arm on the bottom and one on the top. That's it. It doesn't need 14 control arms to do the job. It's really easy to maintain these. This is a car that, for the most part, that an owner who's mechanically inclined could buy and maintain a lot of it themselves. So, the problem could be finding parts, and when you do find them, they're not going to be cheap. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the ground. So now we're going to let you guys hear the Larini exhaust we just installed. It's the moment of truth. Did it really make that big of a difference? And what kind of sound difference can you expect? stock was pretty quiet. We don't have a stock recording of it because we needed to actually get the job done. So, but it's very, very, very muffled. But now it is not muffled. It sounds really good. Let's head to the back of the car. So the engine is warmed up already. We've had it running for a while before we even started filming. We're going to go ahead and have Miss Wizard start it up, and let's see what it sounds like. Oh yeah. Yes. Let that Italian soul come out. So that exhaust sounded really, really good. These Maseratis, the Quattroportes or the Coupes, any of these, when you free up the exhaust, they sound amazing. Not as cool as a Ferrari, but close. It's very close. It definitely does not sound like an LT1 in a Camaro. It definitely sounds Italian. It sounds really good. We're making a lot of headway on the Malibu. We've got some updates. We're going to make some decisions on fueling system, and as you can see behind me, we've got some things already starting to get set up. It's going to be really, really sweet, guys, when we get that thing running. It'll have its own sound to it. It won't sound like this, but I'm fully hoping at high RPM for Zonda sounds. Really cool Zonda sounds in a 60s era muscle car. And yes, muscle car. I don't care what you think. I'm calling it a muscle car. I don't care what any magazine says or Motor Trend. It's a muscle car. So this is just a quick little video to show you guys what we did on this car. It's going to be here and gone really fast. And I knew before it's gone, I wanted to get a video, maybe not as long as the others, but to let you guys hear that awesome exhaust. Customers really going to enjoy their Formula Dynamics drive-by-wire upgrade. The throttle responds, I mean right now, it just, wow, you heard it when we revved it for you. It's so much better than it used to be. These are simple mods. It's not extensive. We didn't dig in really deep. That really improves the enjoyment of the car. He's going to enjoy the sound. He's going to enjoy the improved throttle response. It's really going to be that much nicer. It's going to be a totally different car when he comes to pick it up. So that's what he paid for, and that's what he's getting. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use to do these upgrades for this customer, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. All my tools are listed for sale there. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, I really recommend you do that now. We got many, many more projects to come and more cool cars in the shop. Thanks for watching.